right, so I'm joined now by the one and only Coach LT. Starting off hot right now, 8-3 going into this week. We've got a tough matchup against the Blazers, Coach. But before I get into any of that, how are you doing? You know, we're in quarantine, haven't been able to go back to the facility yet. Just how are you feeling and how's the team doing so far?
Everybody's doing fine. We all know the hand we was dealt once the COVID thing started, so we just making do with the cards we got. So, me personally, I'm doing great. As long as my guys doing great, I'll always be doing great. So, 8-3 right now in the season, I don't got much to complain about. Just focusing and putting all my time towards trucking forward and just being better as a team.
True. And one of the things also which is interesting that I think most people don't know is we're still one of the few, if not the only, and correct me if I'm wrong, that haven't gotten back to their facility. You know, we're hearing all this about facility X, facility Y based on teams. You know, have you thought about trying to go back at all, or how is that looking and everything like that?
Hey, the second they open the door for me and my boys will be right there, ready to rush in like it's a Jordan release. 2K just came out, so we ready. The second the doors open up for us, everybody ecstatic. We ready to go back. The way we are now, it's like you see each other, but it's like rarely, maybe in passing, in the apartment complex. So we just ready to get back to the teamwork and camaraderie of just being a part of a professional sports team that see each other every day. Regular conversations, high five. So we ready. We absolutely ready. The second they have us back, we running full sprint.
Right, but even, you know, you guys not being there, the spirits still look very high, especially, you know, thinking about specifically that Warriors game we had. I don't know about anybody else who's maybe watching this video, but I left that with a headache. I was screaming at the top of my lungs for both games, 1-point wins. You know, how did that feel? And just how did that moment feel for your guys? You know, we were 6-3 at that point. So how did that win feel?
It was amazing. We all focused so much last week. I knew it was a big week for us. We were sitting at 6-3. We kind of got a visual mark of what we need to be in order to clinch playoff, and our goal this week was to get both games. We got them both, but just the way we went about doing them, man, it took extreme focus, high energy, and it took everything to get the wins. As you see the Warriors game, shout out to Pete, and it definitely took a big shot by Pete at the end of the game, a great little hook off the glass under the bucket. So everybody's spirits is freaking high. It took everybody, all 6 players, coaching staff, everybody to get those wins, and I'm glad we got them.
Right, and so looking at that, did that final play, everyone knows the play, it was like you had a reset and everything, and I think it was only like 1 minute, the game was still tied or something like that, but it was literally seconds in that final play to make the win or lose, basically, and go into game 3. Did everything go the way you planned it, or?
Honestly, in a 2K league, everybody's so strategic. So scenario we was in, we had to restart. We was down by 3 with a minute to go. We had ball. We kind of knew they was gonna use all their fouls. I mean, who wouldn't at that point? You got 1 minute and you got 5 team fouls, well, 14 fouls to use. We knew they was gonna use them all, and they probably knew we was gonna use all our reaches and all our fouls on our end. So we got a great bucket to start off. Went back on defense. Got a great stop. I don't recall what happened next. I just know it came down to the last possession. They had like 3 team fouls left. So we was gonna try to draw something up in the half court, but it was kind of hard, not knowing how much time we was gonna be working with. Cause I think the first time we inbounded, I think we had maybe 10 seconds. Boom, they foul us. Now we down to 7. We inbound again. Boom, they foul us. Now we down to 5. Boom, they foul us. Now we down to 2. So they was out of fouls, and we had 2 seconds to go. So we knew what we was working with. And with that amount of time, we tried to draw something up, but didn't go as planned realistically. So amazing read by Mo, who I think inbounded the ball right there.
Mm-hmm.
He kicked it down to Pete, and Pete was able to put something up. So it all worked out. But it took everybody and all our brain power to win that game. So.
Yeah, for sure. And now Mo is also in the lineup. We saw him in the tip-off and this week. What has his impact been on the team in these last 2 weeks since he's been playing? in your
One of
words?
the most high energy talkative guys we got. He really straightforward about just being on the same page. So when something is off the same page, he want to address it like ASAP and asking what's going on. I think that's what we was missing sometimes. I do my part as a coach, but from a player perspective, with him being on lockdown, he kind of makes sure the defense is somewhat polished. So I think we was missing that a little bit. Also, he got a scoring bone in his body even from a lockdown position. Uh, Sleeties do also, so he was able to come right into that role with his vocalness and also had that scoring bone from a lockdown position. Um, and it also gave us, on top of that, it gave us a last year feeling whenever we was one of the more really dominant teams. Pete, Sherm, Dimes, and Mo, all four of them kind of front ran the team last year. So to have all four of them dudes back on the court and it just clicking so fast was just amazing. So shout out that kid. He been putting in work. Shout out Mo.
So, speaking on the team camaraderie and bringing those four guys, Sherm, Dimes, Pete, and Mo, back on the court together, we saw that same team play against the Celtics. You know, they are at the bottom, but this is not a team at all to sleep on. And, you know, in the past, we've had our matchups against them and haven't always gone in our favor. So, how did you look at this matchup and just overall the team's mindset going into it?
First off, Rico is an amazing coach, and so our number one goal going into this week was to play them hard. Every time we step on the court against them dudes, they play us hard. They play it like it's something personal, and we just came out there and matched their energy. So we was fresh off playing them in a tip-off tournament where we split. So really, we took the good, the bad, pretty, the ugly from those games, and we just applied them into the games this week. Our number one objective was to cut down on our turnovers and force Fab to make some tough plays with the ball. And I think we did that. Had an amazing win game one and did just enough to squeeze by game two. So real hungry team we played. I'm just glad we got the win. They was actually at a spot in the season where it could have been very unpredictable of what they came out with. I know they struggling a little bit this season, so told my guys to stay level-headed and expect the unexpected, expect anything at this point, and we did just that. They came out there, they handled business. We played mass basketball, made them play off pace, and we got the dub, so that's all that matters.
Right, at the end of the day, the dub is what matters. So looking ahead to a fierce team we've got this week, Blazer 5 Gaming. The one and the only back-to-back MVPs, Mama and Walnut. They've got just a lot of chemistry on this team, and it's definitely a matchup that I think a lot of people are looking forward to, considering everything they've got going on. Not the best season as they have had in the past, but how are you feeling about going into this one?
I feel good, man. Two top echelon teams in the 2K League going at it. Should be a show for all the fans and everybody who got parts in the 2K League and care about it. I think you hit on the head. Every time you're going up against a team with two MVPs back to back, you gotta be playing your best basketball. And right down the season, I think we're playing pretty much the best basketball we have played up to this point. I know we're taking a trip out west. We're playing on the West Coast host, so that's something to take note of. But we played the Warriors on the West Coast, so we're getting kind of used to that. I think overall, if we go out there and handle business, it should be we should see good results. So we ready. B5 one of the best teams in the league, despite their record. There's no way you can sleep on them dudes. So we treating them like they 12-0 right now. So we prepping and doing everything on the court. Should be fun.
For sure, and I specifically want to look at the matchup between PB Ballin and Walnut, who two top centers, I would say, and I think anybody else would agree. How do you want to slow him down, possibly?
Walnut is a hell of a player all around, rebounding wise, defensive wise, really aggressive offensive center. I think it's just simply just key in on him, Pete. Don't let this dude get going on the board and let's really jump out on him really early in the game. So be dominant. Pete is just as good of a center as Walnut is, so Pete gonna come out and play the same way. Once he matches aggressiveness off rip and Walnut notice like, hey, this dude came to play, I think we should be able to slow him down a little bit. So I think the number one part is we just got to stick to the game playing it and go off and play the best game we can possible, which Peter always does. So
yeah,
not really too much worried about it.
For sure. And so you kind of touched on it in the previous question, but I wanted to ask you about, being on the West. As a team that's kind of a little bit more centralized in Texas, I know we're still considered East, in accordance to like 2K servers, but have you noticed a big difference in the gameplay for our team specifically from West to East? Because a lot of other teams have discussed that it could potentially have an impact on their game.
Um, I know that's a tough subject right now with the 2K League, so I will say it definitely has an impact. There definitely is a difference between the two servers, and it definitely can affect you in a negative way. My team in particular, we really preach just control what you can control. 2K League gave us a schedule. We playing West. Nothing positive gonna come from crying about it. So, um, I think it do affect both teams. But right now we 2-0 when playing West. We gonna go out there and we gonna play Mavs basketball at the end of the day. It ain't nothing we can do about our schedule. All we can do is hop on the virtual hardwood and get some shots up. So it do affect us, but we not that worried about it. We just playing with the cards we done been dealt.
Right. And also, just in general, like, again, one more thing I want to ask you is about remote gameplay. We've now, at the point, we've already announced it and everyone knows, but long-term outlook, how does it feel to still continue to be playing online? Do you feel like, because a lot of people say, oh, it's not the stage, and in other esports you hear it that maybe it diminishes the wins, but do you feel like it makes a difference at the end of the day?
I think it does actually, but not as big of a difference as some people may think. Good teams are gonna be good teams. Bad teams are gonna be bad teams. On stage, online, it don't matter. But I kind of look at it as an attribute. There's a whole nother attribute category that say on stage present. Some people don't come to stage and play the same way they do online. Right now, everybody comfortable in their apartment. You might not take the same shots on stage. Take it from a dude who watch scrimmages 24/7 practicing all week. Some teams don't play the same as they do in scrimmages. And that's just how it is. Sometimes when there's a lot of people watching you, you tend to not play a game. So I think there is a difference, but it might not be as big as people think, but it definitely is a difference overall. With that being said, the quicker we get away from remote play, the faster. So everybody in the league or league-wide definitely enjoy traveling to New York doing.
Right, and we wanted everyone to come to Dallas, for our round robin at one point, but unfortunately you don't have to wait. But yeah, it's just a lot that still is at stake, a lot looking forward. You've got a tough matchup against the Blazers this week, 6 p.m. on Wednesday. Everyone, make sure you tune in and watch. Coach LT, thank you so much for being on this. I wish you guys the best of luck in this matchup this week. It's definitely not going to be easy, but I believe in you guys for sure.
Appreciate it, Jordan. Thanks for having me. Me and the guys can go out there because we got something to prove.